Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putty, and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. We are here for the 6th annual edition of the Sam Keith Classic, the premier tag team tournament in independent American wrestling. There has been a lot happening off-screen since the last episode, actually. There's been a lot of hubbub and build-up. Of course, we now know all 4 of the teams that are going to be entering in the Sam Keith Classic. This is going to be a 4-team round-robin tournament. And the reason why we know all 4 of the teams, of course, is because all of the missing entrants have been announced on the Mid-Atlantic website, along with a lot of other stuff. There's been a lot of news inside the territories over the last month. We're going to get into that. But of course, after the last show, all we knew about the Sam Keith Classic was that the Dynamite Express were going to be in it, the Mid-Atlantic Regional Tag Team Champions. That Greg Gage, the Mid-Atlantic Regional Champion, is going to be in it, but we didn't know his tag team partner. And that Roddy Remus, one of the stronger competitors here, and the guy who, is the champion-elect. He still feels like he should be champion. He hasn't lost to Greg in a completely fair contest yet. He's in it, but we don't know his tag team partner. Since then, everything's been announced. So let's go through the news as it's come, because there's been a lot of shake-up, like I said, within the territories. First of all, 3 days after the previous show, 3 days after Fan Festival, it was announced in an article on the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling website that we would be visited for the Sam Keith Classic by the Confederation of the Territories World Tag Team Champions, the Ring Generals. One of the greatest teams in the history of professional wrestling would be joining us for the tournament. So that's really exciting. A couple days after that, it was announced that, or a video was posted on the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling website of Roddy talking about his past altercations with Greg Gage, how the tournament would be a really big opportunity for him to show off his skills and prove that he deserves a title shot. And he announced that his partner would be very exciting. His partner would be one of the hottest prospects in professional wrestling today. The 2016 Ripcord Invitational Challenge winner, Gino Montero. So that's a really big partner for Roddy to bring into the tournament. And then there was some other news before we got to the final entrant into the tournament. There was some expansion, really, of the Confederation. Because this is something I like to do. I like to add a few territories to the group every now and then, and there were 3 that seemed very appropriate to me. I added AAA, which are a women's federation in Washington State, so we have them as the Northwest Territory. We have Queens of American Wrestling, a second women's federation in Texas. They're going to come in as the Texas Territory. And Freedom Caribbean Wrestling, so they're going to be the Puerto Rico territory. Immediately following that, FCW decided to host a kind of joining the territory show, it seems, with a lot of territories-themed matchups. And during that show, as I guess a sign of solidarity from the territories, there was a title change. Oh, I apparently deleted it because, of course I did, because this is the second time I'm recording this video, third time actually recording this video. There was a title change. You didn't see anything. Nicholas Lopez lost the title to Bradford Perivel, Hands of Stone, the fabled boxer of professional wrestling. He's not a grappler, he's not a high flyer, but one punch from this guy, one punch will put you down. And he has some incredible matches, and he's one of the strongest competitors in the world right now. His punch can put down anyone. And he managed to win the title, and it was announced a couple of days after that in further consolidation of the territories, Bradford Perivel would be joining Greg Gage as his partner in the Sam Keith Classic. So that leaves the lineup looking something like this. So it's going to be a very exciting tournament. I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm looking forward to this show. Of course, it's going to be round robin. All of these teams are going to be fighting each other. There is just so much gold in this tournament. We have the Mid-Atlantic Regional Champion teaming with the World Heavyweight Champion in a dream team. We have the World Tag Team Champions in the Ring Generals. We have the Mid-Atlantic Regional Tag Team Champions in the Dynamite Express. It is a gold-filled show. And to start it off, we will have a clash of the Titans. We are going to have Mid-Atlantic champion Greg Gage teaming with World Heavyweight champion Bradford Paravel to take on the World Tag Team champions, the Ring Generals. That starts the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it, and let's go. So we're opening the show in a 63C minus... Greg Gage and Bradford Paravel defeat the Ring Generals in about 14 minutes. Of course, this is the traditional stuff. The Ring Generals just working down Greg, doing a bit like we get some slick Greg Gage versus the Ring Generals grappling action. Hold for hold, throw for throw, really slick stuff. The type of stuff you'd expect to see out of a Greg Gage versus a ring technician matchup. But the Ring Generals, they're working as a well-oiled machine, the tag team that they are, but they don't expect that dream left hook, as Dean Waldorf gets knocked the fuck out with the strongest left hook in the business today, and there's just nothing you can do when that left hook comes flying. And they get points on the board as we start the tournament tonight, as we move on to our second matchup of the evening, as Roderick Remus and Gino Montero defeat the Dynamite Express, when Gino defeats Sid Collier with a Montero press. Now, this match is very much in the Dynamite Express's yard. You know, they're working over Gino. They're working over Roddy in their corner. Heelish tactics. Heelish but well-worked tag team tactics. And, you look at this match, and for the majority of it, the Dynamite Express are in control. And you want to know why? Because they're a tag team. They've been a tag team for over 3 years now. And they're one of the greatest tag teams in the history of this company. And they control the match. They dominate the match. And in so many ways, they were the stronger team here. Because, of course, they were. They were the tag team here. But sometimes there's just nothing you can do against the quality of a single opponent. And that's what Gino Montero represents. The Ripcord Invitational Challenge winner. The guy. He's one of the hottest prospects, if not the hottest prospect, in pro wrestling today. He's traveling across the world. He's putting on great match after great match, winning big title after big title. There's almost nobody in professional wrestling who has as much buzz as Gino Montero, and he might be the highest quality professional wrestler in the business today. And sometimes there's just nothing you can do against quality like that. And Gino picks up the win, defeating Sid Collier and getting their team on the board. Now, because this is round robin, it's bound. This is 4-team round robin. It's bound to happen that you're going to get a team wrestling twice, because that's just the nature of the 4-team round robin. You can't have a match break in between. Twice in a row, I mean. So, I think this time it's the Dynamite Express. I think they're going to be wrestling next. But instead of just going straight into that match, and instead of having a match in between, we're just going to give them a 5-minute break. Oh, I want to give you a new gimmick. So we're going to have a 5-minute break where the highlights of the last 2 matches are shown. And during this, of course, the table will be put up on the not on the Titantron. I wonder how this would be displayed to the audience. I'm honestly not sure. So as you can see, the tag team's not having a good route in the first round here, as the Dream Teams managed to pick up the victories. Maybe it's a sign of just pure quality in those Dream Teams. You know, we know the Ring Generals, they're the World Tag Team Champions. They're bound to have some better performances in them tonight. But so far, the Dream Teams have just had too much quality. I mean, there is so much gold in that team that's currently in first that it is hard to argue with it. The World Tag Team Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion, the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion. I don't blame the Ring Generals for losing to 2 of the greatest singles wrestlers in the territories today. And of course, Gino Montero is a one-man army. So a lot to be taken from that first round there. And as the 5-minute break comes to an end, we move into the second round of matches. As in a 47D, Greg Gage and Bradford Paravel are defeated by the Dynamite Express when Cameron Jones pins Greg Gage with a chop and change. So the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions finally have points on the board, but what is a bigger story here probably is that Cameron Jones has pinned the Mid-Atlantic Regional Champion. That's a big deal. Does that mean Cameron Jones is in line for a title shot? You know, there are so many people gunning for that Mid-Atlantic Championship these days, but not many people have a really legitimate claim anymore. Cameron Jones just beat the champ, pinned the champ, clean, no shenanigans. I wonder what that means. Well, for now, it just means they've got points on the board. And then in our next match in round 2, another just great matchup here, as the Ring Generals do also get points on the board when they defeat Roderick Ramos and Gino Montero. Dean Waldorf defeats Roderick Ramos with a wheelbarrow bomb. Kind of stuff you'd expect to see from this type of match. The Generals are just the best tag team in the territories today. And, sometimes Gino and Roddy can just pull through that. Sometimes they can barrel over it, but it's going to be a rare occasion. 9 out of 10 times, the Generals are going to get you, because they are the greatest tag team in the territories today. Really big win for them. Really, really big win for them as we move into our second 5-minute break, and I can show you guys the standings. It's all even. It is all even in the Sam Keith Classic. I'm not even going to go over routes to victory right now, because anyone can do it. It is all going to depend on these last 2 matches. A victory might not be enough for some people. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Just a reminder that the sorting rules is in all my tournaments. I probably should have said this at the start. Points first, and then head-to-head record is second. So, for example, obviously this is too hard to sort. But if right now, what just happened in the last... Okay, so if the Dynamite Express and Gage and Peverell were on the same amount of points, then the Dynamite Express would be first, if you know what I mean. Because they beat Gage or Greg and Brad. So if if you're level on points, it's whoever beat the other one that goes up to first. I'm really bad at explaining tournament sorting rules. This happened in the Brand Split series too. I love block tournaments. I absolutely adore them, but I'm really bad at explaining sorting rules, so I should probably never do them. Anyway, we'll talk more about who could win and who couldn't when we go on to see our first round 3 final round match. And in a 46D, Gino and Roddy defeat Greg and Brad when Gino pins Brad with a Montero press. Lots and lots to analyze here. First of all, Gino Montero just pinned the world heavyweight champion. That's huge. And we talk about him being one of the hottest rising stars in professional wrestling today. That right there shows why. He just pinned the world champ. That could mean huge things in the future. And hell, he pinned the world champ in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. I think if there is going to be a title match between those two, it should happen right here in the Mid-Atlantic in front of all these fans that are so great. But this also means that Gino and Roddy have got 4 points on the board. 4 points on the board. They can only be equaled now by the next 2 teams. The Dynamite Express lost to Gino and Roddy. That means the Dynamite Express cannot win this tournament. Because even if they leveled them on points, 4 and 4, Gino and Roddy would be ahead. But if the Ring Generals win our main event, they beat Gino and Roddy and would win the Sam Keith Classic Championship Trophy. It would be big for them. They've never won this tournament before. It's one of the few caps they don't have... one of the few feathers they don't have in their cap. Can the World Tag Team Champions win the greatest tag team tournament in the history of professional wrestling? Our main event, in a 49D plus, the Ring Generals defeat the Dynamite Express when Dean Waldorf defeats Sid Collier by pinfall with a Waldorf salad toss. Hell yeah, they can win the greatest tag team tournament in the history of professional wrestling. The Ring Generals, of course, they're a premier tag team in this tournament. They've beaten the Mid-Atlantic Regional Tag Team Champions. And let's take a look at those final standings. Yes, indeed, the Ring Generals go ahead on head-to-head record. They beat Roddy and Gino earlier in the tournament, and therefore they go ahead. In second, Roddy and Gino, they did very well. A very good performance, although it should be said, and this could come up later, that Gino did a lot of that victory. Gino was a big part of that victory. Gino was the guy who really powered them ahead of a victory against the Dynamite Express. Gino was the guy who got the pinfall on the world champ. Gino was a big part of that team. The Dynamite Express, admirable in third. Good performances against the Ring Generals. Good performance against Gino and Roddy, but in the end just came up short against the big teams. Of course, the Dynamite Express did end up beating Greg and Brad, I think. Yeah, I think they ended up beating Greg and... No, yeah, they did. They did beat Greg and Brad. Look at me. Look, this has been a lot to organise today, guys. This has been the longest booked, recorded episode in the series so far, and a lot of the stuff's just getting muddled in my mind. Yes, Cameron Jones pinned Greg Gage. So they beat the Mid-Atlantic champion and the World Heavyweight champion. That's a really good performance from the Dynamite Express. As for Greg and Brad, probably a worse performance than they would expect from their positions. They have a lot of good singles gold, but it just goes to show that singles gold doesn't automatically mean you're going to do well in a tag team tournament. And we gave our hearty congratulations to the Ring Generals, who obviously are presented with the tag team gold, or the two trophies, the big adorned trophies, probably more expensive than our entire roster. As of course Sam Keith gives it to the Ring Generals, and they get on the mic and they say, thank you all for having us. Mid-Atlantic Wrestling is always a fantastic place to visit. I'm sure if we are allowed to and we are given reason to, we will be back. We beat your tag team champions. We won your tag team tournament. I think there's a lot of unfinished business here. Thank you all for coming tonight, and I hope you have safe travels home. And I hope you continue to enjoy professional wrestling. And confetti rains from the sky. And of course, Dean and Marv win the Sam Keith Classic titles. An interesting thing that I only just noticed when I was booking this, that's really cool about TEW's new angle title changes, is that you can have stuff like this for for block style tournaments. So before you'd have to time it so that the winners of the tournament won it on the final match and then put the title on the line in that final match. Now you can just have a group tournament, and then at the end of the group tournament just do an angle where the champion is crowned, and you can have them win it that way, which is really cool. I really love that. It's great because it facilitates more tournament play, which is amazing. So yeah, now out of kayfabe, I hope you all enjoyed. This is one of the most fun shows to book in the series so far. I love tournaments. I apologize if I fucked something up, or a lot of things up. This was quite difficult for me to book. I should have done better. I'm going to improve in future, I'm sure. I'm not using it as an excuse just because it was difficult. I should have done better than I did today. But I hope you still enjoyed. I hope everything got across okay. And I hope you're interested in the tournament. If you did, please go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series if you really enjoyed it and you're feeling especially generous. There should be a link to my Patreon in the description. And thank you all for watching. And again, I haven't released any of the episodes of this series yet, but I hope to thank you for your support so far. And we get to kind of reset next episode. There's a lot of contenders for both of our titles. There's potentially a World Heavyweight Championship feud on our brand. So there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot of matches to be had and a lot of graps to watch. So I will see you guys next time. Peace out.